Is truth subjective? Is it objective? Or does it even exist?
Many people wonder about these questions, and philosophers often try to define truth and assess it.
But most people, whether they know anything about philosophy or not, have some opinion about whether truth is subjective, objective, or exists at all.
But rather than expressing those in ways that sound philosophical, they're more likely to call upon a few common phrases. Let's look at some of these phrases. We'll begin with some that are in the subjective camp. The first form of this subjective approach is where each person gets to decide what is true based upon their own personal judgments. It is subjective because it is subject to the opinion of each individual. This, of course, does not so much resolve disputes over whether claims are or are not true, but rather dismisses that such disputes exist at all. And depending on the squiggly line that each individual decides to follow, everyone could end up in quite different places. There are many who find this I decide approach unsatisfying. I mean, it does seem, after all, that people genuinely disagree about things. I mean, is that shape a triangle or is it not? And that we should be able to come up with some way to resolve those disputes.
Yet, even still, people sometimes want to retain something subjective in their approach to truth, and this can lead to another way of thinking.
Rather than allowing each person to decide for themselves, they aggregate their opinions. Let's see what everyone thinks in general. This too is subjective because truth changes along with the shifting opinion of a society. Yet individuals are not entitled to their own truth. There appears then to be something more stable about this approach than everyone getting to make their own claims. There is at least some way of achieving some sort of agreement. For some, though, this type of subjective approach, even if based upon the larger community rather than just individuals, is still too flimsy. Something more solid must be achieved. And this leads us to a couple of ways of expressing an objective approach. In this objective category, we can find those who appeal to disciplines such as science. Science is based upon empirical data that seems to avoid any subjective elements. This removes the ambiguity of truth through claims that one merely reports reality, rather than getting to create your own reality.
Rather than creating one's own truth as an individual or a group, truth is found out in the world.
Not everything can be measured empirically, however, so this doesn't resolve every question. But a similar type of objective approach can be seen when considering what do experts think? There are many questions that move outside of the realm of empirical data or even mathematical laws, but appealing to experts in a field can still provide an objective approach. These knowledgeable individuals are not simply giving their own opinion, but are providing assessments based upon a deep understanding of the history and backgrounds informing the primary questions in a particular field. Some, though, have lost faith in the idea that truth can be pursued in either objective or subjective fashion. They hold a post truth perspective.
We see this most clearly in those that deny truth exists at all. Pursuing truth objectively, subjectively, or otherwise is a fool's errand in their eyes. It's not worth the time.
One can act and live however one likes because there are no real truths or facts in the world. Instead of imagining that truth is sitting waiting to be revealed, the thought here is that perhaps the hat is empty. There is no rabbit, or truth at all. The type of disbelief in any truth that we see in a post truth perspective can sometimes be paired with an explanation for why some things get taken as truth. That is because the powerful are able to decide and make what all of us take to be true, whether this be through violent enforcement or influence through money or being able to repeat something until it is believed. These are all ways of denying that anything is really true. So we've seen these are all common ways that truth is discussed in public discourse, reduced to slogans short enough to post on social media. Each of these makes assumptions about what it means to claim something as truth, and each as a result lead to a very different way of operating and living in the world. So while people may not go around saying they hold a subjective or objective view of truth, you can recognize their theory of truth by how they respond to these common phrases. Thank you for watching this production of Humanities Scholars Hub, where we explore philosophy, religion, and other aspects of human life.